Come on Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok. Alright guys. Gonna give it a little bit and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Today we're talking about men's mental health in the correctional systems. Alright. Men's mental health in the correction system this morning. Something a little different. Told you guys I'm gonna hit all angles. And I know you know or you know of somebody that's been in the correctional system. So, and if you don't, know that they'll get out. And how's their mental, right? Alright. I'm going to take a sip of water here. Then we jumping into this thing. Alright. Alright. Good morning. Let's do this. Hope everybody's doing well. JT, Debbie, Littman, Jasmine, thank you for coming in. All right. We have everybody going. All systems are go. Let's jump into this. Men's mental health disorders, mental health issues in the correctional system. Now, nobody really touches on this subject because it's hot and they really don't have to care or do care about the men in the correctional system. But those men that went in to prison or inside in jail or whatever you want to call it, they went there for a purpose. Something happened, could have been by accident, but most of it, some kind of moral dilemmas, childhood issues, something of trauma usually sends somebody there. Something of a need that's making trauma send somebody there. So, but what happens inside? What happens with these guys? Are they taken care of? Because when they come out, we don't take care of them. It's almost like the soldiers, the veterans. Men kind of get that same treatment no matter where they go. When they come out, you're done. Figure it out. You're a man. Go get a job. Provide. Be the stigma. You're supposed to be strong. Get your six pack. Where's your six figures? You just got out of jail. You should have this going. Now, we want people to rehab in jail. We want them to learn something when they go to prison or when they're in the correctional system, right? So when they get out, they can come back and fit into society, be normal, right? Be something different. But we don't really let that happen. We don't assist that. We put that money towards so many things except for their mentality. So let's do some stats because, like I told you, Cowrie doesn't come with his own opinions. He comes with stats and facts. That way, when you want to attack me, I'm just going to give you the facts, right? And everybody, hey, Sylvia, Apple Mom, Patricia, you guys, I'm going to give you these facts so you'll know it, right? All right. So let's start at the top. Mental health disorders, okay? Studies generally show a higher significant prevalence in mental health disorders among incarcerated men, right? Of course. So approximately 56%, look at the numbers. I tell you guys, learn numbers and you can fix your life, your relationship, your depression. Learn some numbers, right? Because you learn loss when you learn numbers, right? So approximately 56% of incarcerated disorders. So that's close to 60. So more than half, 60% of the men incarcerated have a mental health disorder. Something going on with them. So 50% of that system why don't we put money into the mental? Because I'm tired of sending people back to be incarcerated. I don't want to do that. I want them to be functional. I want people to be free. I want men to be free. We have more things to do with those free men. Strong men, mental men. Because being incarcerated takes another mental capacity. Now you have to be stronger. You have to worry about your life. You have to worry about getting harmed. You have to worry about being sexually attacked. These are things you don't have to worry about out here like they do in there. So that mental space it is going wild with guys that are incarcerated, right? Let's look at, and what happens? Do you know they get drugs in jail? So the same thing I said about men outside actually deal with the men inside, right? So these men, and they get the drugs in there somehow. We'll just leave it there. But substance abuse rates among male prisoners are notably higher, with a considerable percentage struggling with dependency. Now you're thinking, you're incarcerated. How you getting drugs and alcohol? Man, you make it. They do what they gotta do to feel better. It's no different than being out here in the streets. Whatever it takes to make me forget my trauma, forget my worries, forget my suffering, forget what I've done wrong, I want to use it. So I'm going to get that substance, and I'm going to use that substance to forget about this reality for this moment. Now, if you're incarcerated, you know they want to forget about that reality for that moment. Who wants to be incarcerated and love it and be like, oh my God? No. They're getting substances in jail. Matter of fact, up to 80. Listen to how big this number is for prison systems, correctional systems, and men, right? Up to 85% of men in prison, 85% of the prison population, has substance abuse problems. And only 10% receive substance abuse treatment during that in prison, in their incarceration. 85% of the prison population has substance abuse problems. We don't even think about that out here. Just think if 85% of the people in your neighborhood had substance abuse problems. Then you have stealing, robbing, you have all of the crimes, because that's what substance abuse does. So now I'm in here for a crime. I'm still on this abusive nature. I'm trying to forget about life and not feel it. So what happens? I start just going, my mind starts melting. I don't know what to do. And what's the next thing that it leads into? Incarcerated men have a higher suicide rate than the general male population because of that isolation. Now, I'm comparing both because I don't know if people, I want you to see how a man outside being alone still feels incarcerated. They're both running with the same parallel issues. Substance abuse, suicide rate. It's in the prison system. It's outside the prison system. But why are we doing it? Why are men in this issue? Right? Because they've isolated themselves. They've been isolated. So when we do that and we don't worry about their mind, how they function, 5 times higher. Solitary confinement in the correctional system can increase suicide rate up to 7 times. That's a lot. You think of how many people you can lose. You know, it's that we have loved ones in prison that are in confinement. Some of us do. And some for just some things that you don't think is so big. You know, you compare murder to stealing some gum, but you're still in the same place. You're still getting the same penalty. Because of our cruel nature and our judgment of as being humans. Go to jail. You did wrong. We used to be better at that back in the day, before we were heavily populated with prison systems and people being able to make money and businesses out of them. You used to, people would steal from your store, you would have them work on your property. The judge would assign them to you. But now we take that freedom, we take that mentality for some of the smallest things, and we cause men to have a higher suicide rate in prison. Up to 7 times higher. 7 times. That's a big number. And what are we doing? What are we doing? Are there any, what's going on inside of that prison system that are helping the men get ready to be out, to be functional in this environment? Or, because remember, it's a prison system, it's a system. And men get in that system, and when they get pulled out of that system, they have nothing to do. Or in that system, they start having substance abuse. Same thing in the military. I don't want you to think military doesn't have substance abuse, because it's a system, and you feel like you're in a prison. And when men do that, that confinement, solitary, 7 times more likely to commit suicide. Now, what about the mental health services inside? Because that would help, right? That's what we're here for. Because why would we just incarcerate people and then we say, this is for rehabilitation, this is going to make you better? Why would we just put them in there without really having some mental health professionals available and creating a new person? Letting them know that something's different inside of them, like we do everybody out here for depression. But they've done something wrong, or they got caught. Because there's a lot of people out here doing wrong things that don't get caught, and that's okay. So inside of the prison system, with there's a 30% shortage of mental health professionals. 30%. Let's look at our high numbers. 85% addiction problems, so substance abuse problems. Suicide rates 5 times to 7 times higher. And 56% of them, then there's 60% of people that are in, have mental health issues. And 50% of them do not have access to proper care. So, I learned this word. I never seen it before. It's called, make sure I say it right, recidivism. Recidivism. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, recidivism. What that means, it refers to a person when they relapse into their criminal behavior. And they get back in that mindset and they end up coming back. Recidivism. So your cousins or people out there, nephew, or little Johnny on the block that keeps going back, recidivism. Right? Because think about it. I'm going in with a mental issue. I get a mental issue just by sitting there in handcuffs in the back of a car. I'm starting to think things. I'm starting to get depressed just by knowing my freedom's being taken. I get there, and now I have to worry about being sexually assaulted, loneliness, isolation. I've been removed from my people, my family. Now I'm being affected. I'm fighting mentally just to stay alive. I'm fighting for that. But do you know? Now remember those numbers, damn near 60%. Men with untreated mental health issues are more likely to reoffend. They are more. We know this. We don't need a statistical number for this. They're more likely to go back in and do the same thing again. Recidivism. Now, just think if we took care of that. Just think if we started at home with our children. Just think if we started giving mental health to our children at an early age where it wasn't given to us. Mental wellness. Right? Think if we started giving our children the cure. Hey, things are going to happen in life. Life is not going to be the most simplest place that you get to enjoy. This journey goes up and down, but when you feel that journey, when you're able to feel the pain, then you won't deliver so much. When you're able to enjoy and understand, like, I was selected to be here, and I'm going to enjoy this time. I'm not going to let anybody pull me down. I'm not going to let anybody hold me down. I'm going to lift my own self up. I'm going to figure out what's inside of me that I can be consistent power at all times. I don't need to be recharged. I have something inside of me now. And that something has always been inside of you. But a lot of times, just like in the prison system, we tend to put ourselves in a solitary confinement. And no matter what, you can be in a stadium full of people and put yourself into a solitary confinement. And solitary confinement, what does that do? That increases your anxiety and depression symptoms up to 30%. So when you have your people sitting alone, think about that father sitting alone in that chair with the paint, worn off of it, leather worn out, arm cushions crooked, can't even tilt back too much and he can just barely rock. Think about how long he's been sitting in that chair in isolation. What you don't see as a prison, he does. That job is a prison to that man. That confined life, that solitary confinement. That's why I tell you, talk to your family, talk to your men, your brothers, your sons, talk to these XY chromosomes and just ask them how they're doing, because you never know the mental capacity or the mental strain that they're under. You never know what they need to keep them out of prison, to keep them from experiencing recidivism, a relapse in your criminal behavior. In the prison system, when you mess up, that's one of those big things. You go to solitary confinement, because go be by yourself, sit in the corner. That's what we used to do. We're used to that. We think that's your punishment. That's the worst punishment ever. Most people break in that solitary confinement area. Even in your own homes, people break by being alone. They don't go out and experience. You want to get better? You want to beat your depression? Go experience your journey. Experience that life. Do not sit in that bed and stay in that solitary confinement, because 80% of the people that are in solitary confinement in the correctional system, they don't get any mental care. I haven't looked up the stats, but I only can imagine how many people are sitting at home, because we all know them. They're depressed. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do that. And they're experiencing that solitary confinement and becoming part of the people that do not access mental health care, because we don't care about them, and they've stopped they stop caring about themselves. They don't know how, so we get to help them. Or recidivism. I don't want that. I don't want people coming out of jail going back to jail because of the same behavior, because of the same trauma. We can help that. We can talk to people. We can facilitate better. We can have programs, right? Now, and let me give you this stat. If rehabilitation programs that they put in place for incarcerated guys reduces recidivism rates, right? It actually, if you incorporated mental health treatment, it shows a 40% lower recidivism rate. is so 40% of the dudes don't go back. Isn't that what we want? Or do we want criminals on the street? So instead of letting them get to the prison system, how about we beat it early? How about we start taking care of these children, these men's mental health early before they start? And there's so many things that incorporate, like I said, loss of job, not being able to support your family, not being man enough or macho enough to support society pressure. We as people can look at one another, take one another, and treat one another better to the point that we can stop recidivism. We can stop that person relapsing back into their criminal behavior. And the less criminal behavior we have, the better we have at life. The better society moves forward. The wheel starts rolling. We take that money from the prison system. Imagine having 40 or 50% of that prison system money never go back to the prison system, but goes into the education of our economy. Goes into building our roads and systems. Helping families get stronger. We are putting money in the jails and prisons because we don't want to do the work outside the jail and prison to keep a lot of guys from getting there. We don't want to sit down and have the tough conversations. We're so worried about our own sexual pleasures and desires and having fun to where we don't look at our sons and know that, hey, with your actions and the way you're going, there's a strong possibility you're going to experience some recidivism. And that's not what I want. It's a strong possibility the way you run your mouth, my child, my son, my father. It's weirdly enough, the way you act, it garnishes you what they call solitary confinement, whether incarcerated or outside of the prison system. If you're an a-hole, a lot of times people give you solitary confinement. Men. Now here's something I'm gonna give another class on it, but it'll be more inside of the men's conference. But let's just take some simple things. Washing your butt. That'll get you some solitary confinement, which will get you some depression. Brushing your teeth, taking care of your body, solitary confinement. Just taking care of yourself. Because if we help people take care of themselves, they will take care of themselves and they will become functional. It's a book that says, hey, if I could give you fish, or I could teach you how to fish. I could actually show you which rod to buy. I can show you and say, son, before you go down that street, let me show you what incarceration looks like. Let me tell you what solitary confinement looks like. Let me actually spend time with you before the prison system gets to. Because I don't want to give you a 60% chance to head back into that prison system. Because they did nothing for you and neither did I. And all we do when we see somebody go back or get put in jail is like, man, they shouldn't have done them like that, man. That was tough. Man, that judge put a bad rap on him. Or did we? Did we as our family? See, if we kind of change this and we shift our way of thinking, right? We can handle mental health in prisons. And then we won't have so much outside of it. Because that's where a lot of our guys go. We can start turning lives around and affect our communities, make them safer. If we take care of the mental, if we're more supportive, we can tear down these walls of macho manhood and have men of freaking character and vision. Men of integrity and morals and built off of brotherly love. Just so they can perform and love everybody. Greatness comes with a cost. Now, some people, a lot of people, they want to be happy. But people like me, people like you, you're designed to be great. And sometimes, when you have to be great, you don't get to be happy all the time. Because you have to be great in order to make other people happy. You have to be great. So let's help our children, help our sons, help our fathers, help all of these XY chromosomes be great so they don't experience recidivism. Relapse into criminal behavior. Another foot back into the jail prison system. Another 50% of my mind not being taken care of. Another solitary confinement inside of brick walls where there's 80% less mental health services. Think about it. What do you want? A brief future or a full future? Do you want the prison system to be reformed? Or you just want recidivism? How much do you really think about humanity? Because men's mental health gets you thinking about humanity. Because it involves everybody. And men, take care of one another. Stop beating each other down. Never disgrace a fallen man. Look at their journey first. And see what you can do to help them up. And stop letting people dishonor fallen men in front of you. As if you can't fall or you won't fall. As if you can't fall back into recidivism. There's darkness and car accidents and just accidental things that can get you put in jail, get you incarcerated. But if we take care of your mental prior to and when they get out, we can significantly reduce that and have more funding for our people. So, this was a good morning. Guys, I hope you learned something. This one was about men's mental health in the correctional facility, in the correction systems, and what happens and how we can take care of it, because we don't talk about that, but they come in and out. In and out. Recidivism. Let's help that. Let's be a difference. Let's be a change maker in that. I want to break the prison system. I want to break those people making all that money off of my brothers, my cousins, my nephews. I want to cure the people, my friends and family that have been inside of the prison system. I want to give them a cure for their brain, for their mental, so that they never have to revisit that place, so they never have to experience solitary confinement, but they can rest in peace above ground. Dead people don't get to rest in peace. People that are alive do. People that live do. People that experience life. Those are the ones that get to rest in peace. So guys, have a great morning. I will see you again at 7 p.m. Make sure you sign up for the men's conference. DM me, email, go to the website, Cowries Corner, www.Cowries Corner. It's going to be the first week in June. We're going to have, this is going to be open up to men. I know there are about 350 people signed up right now. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get that down to probably 25 people, because this class is going to be very intense and I want to spend time with people. So sign up now. We're going to break it down. We're going to do interviews. If you don't get selected on this round, we'll select you. We'll try to get you in. Right? We're also doing these classes, but stay in contact with me. Let's move. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. I can't think of them all. Twitter, X now. So follow me there. And also, I'm opening up that men's course to women with male children, man boys, so we can help you as well, because who goes into the incarceration system? Those little boys turn into incarcerated men. Incarcerated men have recidivism, right? So we're fighting all of that. We're fighting everything we're doing to keep that prison system weak. We don't want a prison system. We want our family with us on Thanksgiving and holidays. We don't want to take those men out of the home so they don't be fathers or can't be that figure that child needs. We want them better here so they can be better here. All right? So much life, everybody. Much love. Believe that. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. Good morning.